Yo, what's up YouTube? It's TRS or the real Smokey here, and in today's video I will be going over my single target build for the Hunter Ranger in module 23 for NeverWinter. So if you do go on to find this video informative or helpful, feel free to leave it a like and subscribe for more. So let's just get into the build. So with module 23 coming out, it's opened a better selection of gear. There's no one way to go about stuff now. I'm just going to be showing you what I'm personally going to be using and make recommendations if you use other stuff. So I'm going to start with the headpiece. The headpiece I'm using is the Serene Hood of the Dragon Hunter, which is just the upgraded Greaser's horns, because for a Hunter Ranger it's not hard for us to keep this at a high stack. Most of the time I'm averaging about 8 stacks, which still makes it better than the other helm, which is 7% quick strike on single target, I think. So this is just recommendation for hunters all around, because I really do just find it better than others. Next is the tactful levers of the Dragon Hunter. This is the upgraded ribcage. So with this it gives you 7.5 crit strike and 7.5 critical severity. You can go for the accuracy combat advantage one. If you go for that, you'll just have to swap around the companions, which we'll get to them later on in the video. And the next is the mighty vambraces of the Dragon Hunter. These arms are nice, because when you hit a target, you can gain up to 5% damage resistance, which is nice if you have a tank that's struggling to hold aggro, and you're required to take a hit or two, because then if you do take a hit or two, you gain a 1% damage per hit you take, essentially, for 10 seconds. And as I'm talking about the gears, you'll see what armor reinforcement kits I've got on them all. Obviously the weapons I'm using is Masterwork. I always recommend Masterwork because of the group play aspect of it. 2% to everyone in your group is nice. If you got full group, it's 10% for everyone, which of course makes it better than Lionheart, Mirage. God, in all fairness, I'm sick of seeing Mirage, but that's my opinion. For the bonus I'm using on it is Aim Shot and Aim Strength, because of course Aim Shot is the main at will of a Hunter Ranger, because 260 magnitude is nice at will. On the offhand, I'm using Forte just to balance out the power and accuracy. As you can see, I've got pretty nice roll on the accuracy, 2492. So best of luck to when you're trying to roll a stat that high, because I know it's a pain in the ass. Next is the Wasteland Wanderers. When you are 25 yards or closer to your target, your combat advantage is increased by 5%. This build does get to 90% combat advantage, so it's always nice. The neck I'm using is the Dragonhide Choker, which is the set that came out with this module. Because when you use an encounter power, you gain 2.5% combat advantage, up to 3 times, so that is 7.5% combat advantage. I personally find this better than the music box set, because of the item level increase, plus the stat distribution you get from it. Because the music box says 15% on the tooltip, but it's not actually 15%, it's less than that. Because of the way that buffs and all that stuff are calculated in this game, works out a lot less than 15. The rings I'm using is obviously the band of air, because this is just best in stock piece of gear at the moment. We'll have to wait till the adjustments are made to this ring to see if it's still viable for us or not, because they're changing it to only procs on the initial hit of stuff. So no like ferocity, music set, mithril set, poison forms. So I'll be really curious to see how that affects Hunter Rangers. And the next ring I'm using is the Red-Eyed Glare, because the power and the accuracy from it is just nice. If you're tapped on power, the ring I would recommend would be the 7% crit ring, which you get from the new Dragon Hunt system. And obviously the waist is the Dragon Hide Sass, to just finish off the new set piece. And then obviously I'm using the new shirt. 2400 of a stat is nice. The action point gain is helpful. And obviously the stats that you get from the full set is also nice. So it's an extra 3000 stats from this, from having the set bonus of the 2. And then the pants are the crit strike one. Go for whatever pants and shirt fit the stats you need, because obviously you might stat different with mount insignias, companion gear, comp bonuses itself. And then the artifacts are just like, same with the pants, just like the pants and shirt, just use whatever fits your stats, because not everyone has the same artifacts at their disposal. The only artifact that is required from the 4 I'm using is the Red Dragon Mark, because that finishes off the neck and the waist set, which it's a nice artifact anyway. 1800 power, 940, that works out at like, the power of that works out approximately the same as Runic Aura from a tank or a cleric. So next I will show you what powers I use. In the left trigger I use aim shot, because like I said, it's the main at will that a Hunter Ranger uses. The other one is whatever you want to use. You could use Hunter's Teamwork, which is not a bad one to use, because that does help with the Band of Air procs. But I personally like Split Shot / Split Strike, because it helps if a boss does summon adds, so you can just hit them at a bit of a distance. I know it takes a 2 seconds to cast it if you go for the full 160, but I just spam it with its basic shot. So, and for those of you that know Rangers, will know that sometimes you can double tap it and get like 3 triggers of it. It's nice. It's not always doable, but I do it a lot. Next is the encounter powered, which I am using Hindering Shot, Constricting Arrow, and Longstrided Shot. If you're the only hunter in the group, I would recommend using Commanding Shot, because Commanding Shot obviously helps you and your allies, because Commanding Shot is a 10% damage increase on the target, obviously, so that helps everyone. The main at-will that we use as a hunter is Disruptive Shot. If you don't want to use Disruptive Shot and you want to change the last feat, you could go for Slash and Mark, because it does hit like a truck. But I prefer the consistency of Disruptive Shot over the burst. But that's totally up to your playstyle. And next is Defeat, which is Seeker's Vengeance and Aspect to the Pack, because 5% extra combat advantage when your allies are nearby is nice. Not only do you have it yourself, you give it to the 4 closest allies. Because this only works if you're in like a 10-man trial. This affects the 4 closest allies to you, not the 4 in your group. which is an easily misunderstood concept at this for a lot of people. And then obviously the feats are rate of change when you switch stances, which ideally you want to be swapping stances between every encounter at will, etc. 15% damage buff, which is nice. Next is Fond Roots. It upgrades your roots to do more magnitude, and if the target's immune, it's straight up 225 magnitude. Next is Predator, which applies prey to the target on your first range power encounter, and it lasts 10 seconds. You can do the full rotation in 10 seconds, so you're pretty much keeping this up constantly. Next is Forest Bond, which is to help with the cooldowns of your encounter powers, and then it more than disrupted. Use disrupted shot, it increases your range damage powers by 10% for 5 seconds, so you'll use this and then go through range rotation. Next is Boons. I will leave the Boons here so you can just take a screenshot. Boons are pretty irrelevant now to a degree, they're all pretty box standard what you pick, like power, crit save, crit strike, accuracy, etc. Guild boom I use is accuracy. In the defensive slot I use defense, and obviously with it being a single target build I use red sickness. But if you want to get a little cocky with yourself, you can go for the movement speed boom if you really want to avoid being hit. Next is the companions. So see, single target build, so you're going to want Bacteria because it's just the best damaging comp. Next I've got the bigger they are. It's just another damage buff. If you really want to risk having a lower crit chance, you can put on NeverWinter's Night if you have it, instead of Black Dragon Insight. Well, I'm playing with them lower numbers of crit is a bit iffy. And then the next two is Staldorf and Golden Cat Instinct, so 15% combat advantage. The equipment I'm using is 3 Tarnished Emerald Talismans of the Companion, just the highest item level comp gear with double offensive stats. And then of course you've got the Companion Enhancement, which says it gives you 7,500, but it gives you near enough 10,000. And the summon comp is the Icosa Caesar and Iron Sun. So the next thing is the mounts, which of course I'm using Tunnel Vision, but if your group don't have other debuffs, you can use the Swarm, Elion, Pegasus, T-Rex. So you'll want to use whatever the group is missing if they don't have them, but if your group has all of them, I highly recommend Tunnel Vision. And then obviously we've got Ferocity to help with the proccing of the Band of Air, which, like I said earlier on in the video, if the Band of Air gets changed to how we think it's gonna get changed, you'll be swapping out Ferocity for whatever you need for stat wise, essentially. So that is everything apart from everything apart from my stats, which I will show you what pots I use. I use the Grand Summer Festival, Flash of Potency, rank 3 +1, Wild Psalm Elixir, and a Sambuke. And these are what my stats look like, just potted. So of course you'll see that my power is not capped, because I've left room for Runic Aura, because pretty much when that procs, this build will go to 89.8 or 89.9, so it's a bit negligible, it's a bit tight when it comes to this area, because as you can see I'm almost capped on everything offensively. And the enhancements I'm using a crit strike accuracy, and I'm also using a corrupt black ice, because it's always nice to get that action point game back. So next I will show you the rotation. The rotation is pretty simple. You'll use Destructive Shot, Long Striders, Aim Shot twice, Constricting, Hindering, Aim Shot twice again, Swap stances. You'll use Long Striders, Constricting and Hindering again. You'll use 2 more aim shots, and then you will rinse and repeat. So I will show you it in normal speed. You've got bang, bang, and that is it. So if you have found this video helpful or informative, or you've got any concerns about alt or any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. So until next time, peace.